I jolted awake the instant I heard my horse scream a sharp, frantic cry I'd never heard from him before. It cut through the stillness of the suburban night like an alarm, sending my heart racing so fast it nearly drowned out everything else. I stumbled off the couch, almost knocking over the mug on the side table, my mind spinning with questions. Where was Titan? Why was he so panicked? And why did his cries sound like they were coming from the street instead of the stable out back? I rushed through the leave-wying room, yanked the front door open, and bolted down the driveway. It was nearly 10 p.m., the sky cloaked in heavy clouds, stars in VY Cybele, and the streetlights casting a strange, dim glow over the scene. Titan, my therapy horse, was nowhere in sight, just the shadowy figure of a woman standing across the road on her lawn, watching me with a smug grin. Even before I could make out her face, I knew who she was by the way she held herself, that rigid, self-righteous tilt of her chin. Mrs. Evelyn Pritchard, president of the Meadow VYEW HOA, the neighborhood's self-appointed watchdog and reigning tyrant of our quiet cul-de-sac. She'd once left me a 6-page letter complaining about my shed's roof being a shade too blue for the approved color scheme. Now she stood there, motionless, her eyes gleaming with VY Tory under the street lamp. My breath came quick, dread clawing at me. Titan was still missing. Maybe he was safe in the stable behind the house, but then I heard it again, that awful, muffled whinny, like it was trapped inside something hollow. A shiver ran through me. I raced around the side of my property, scanning the area with the focus I'd honed as a police K-9 trainer. I work for the city, training dogs to handle high-stress situations, but nothing had prepared me for my own therapy horse being in distress right here in my neighborhood. Titan and I had been partners for 4 years, helping abused kids at shelters, GIVYing soothing rides to veterans with PTSD. He had this incredible ability to sense pain and offer comfort with his calm, steady presence. But now that gift was drowned out by the terror in his cries. I circled back to the driveway, my voice shaking as I called, "Titan, come here, buddy." Then out of the corner of my eye I saw Mrs. Pritchard step forward. She pointed sharply toward her garage, its door half shut. Another desperate neigh came from inside, and my stomach dropped. I sprinted across the street, not caring that stepping onto her property Union VY Ted would normally spark an HOA lecture. The streetlight caught the sweat on her forehead as she stared at me. "What did you do to my horse?" I demanded, my voice tight with fear. She raised her chin, unfazed. "I did what the rules demanded," she said, her gaze cold and predatory. "Your animal was loose, trampling my roses. I contained it." My pulse pounded. Titan wasn't some wild stallion, barely moved without my lead. "You locked him in your garage?" I asked, incredulous. She rolled her eyes. "I had to. He was ruining the neighborhood's look. The HOA has rules against livestock on residential streets. I've warned you before." She clicked a remote, and the garage door lifted just enough for me to see Titan's tail flicking in a panic. His cries were heartbreaking. "Open it now," I said, forcing calm into my tone despite the rage boiling inside. "He needs air and space. He can't be trapped like this." She pursed her lips, ignoring me. "I have every right to protect my property. I should fine you for letting him roam. This is Meadow VYW, not a ranch." Titan whinnied again, and I couldn't hold back. I shoved past her, dodging her sharp protest, and hit the garage door button on the wall. As it rose, I saw him trembling in the back corner, eyes wide with fear. He didn't look hurt, but his panic was palpable, the kind I'd seen in mistreated animals during my training. I stepped inside, wrapping an arm around his neck, whispering, "It's okay, big guy." His shaking eased as he pressed into me, recognizing my voice. The garage reeked of paint and stale air, no ventilation, no place for a horse to feel safe. She'd tied him with an old rope looped clumsily around his neck, not even a proper halter. I untied it, keeping him steady as he pawed the ground nervously. My hands burned with the need to get him out. "Mrs. Pritchard started in again. "You're breaking HOA rules by keeping that beast here. I'm sure you filed no permits. And the noise VYOLAT Section 12. Now you've trespassed and I expect compensation." Her words grated, but I ignored her. Titan was my priority. I murmured to him, scratching his ears like I did with traumatized K-9 recruits. "We'll get you home safe." He snorted, nuzzling my chest, and I led him out into the cool night air. He exhaled shakily, leaning into me as some of his tension faded. Then I noticed footprints and scuff marks near the hedge between our yards. Titan didn't wonder someone had let him out. The gate to his stable was unlatched, something I never left undone. Either I'd slipped up or Mrs. Pritchard had meddled. I turned to her, keeping my anger in check. Why didn't you call me instead of locking him up? She crossed her arms. I left notes about that animal. You ignored them. Tonight, he was snorting at my flowers. I'd had enough. My fists clenched. Titan had helped kids rebuild trust, comforted my mom after her heart surgery. That's when I saw the power of therapy animals. To Mrs. Pritchard, he was just a pest. I took a deep breath. Next time, call me. Locking him up was dangerous and cruel. She huffed. I'll file a complaint with the HOA. You'll hear from us soon. She stormed inside, slamming her door. I brought Titan back to his stable, checking the gate for tampering. The latch was loose, too convenient. I settled him with water and a rub-down, but guilt gnawed at me. A K-9 trainer, and I'd let my horse get nabbed by my neighbor. Sleep wouldn't come. What if she claimed trespassing or damages? Could the HOA force Titan out? He was a certified therapy animal, but HOAs could twist rules. I'd skimmed the Meadow VYEW bylaws, assuming fairness would prevail. Clearly a mistake. Morning brought a typed letter under my door, official notice of HOA violation. It listed breaches: unauthorized livestock, noise, property neglect, demanding I remove Titan or face fines. Fury surged through me. I checked on him. He was calmer but still jittery. I texted my friend Lisa, a vet tech familiar with therapy horses. She warned that confinement could cause lasting stress and to watch for signs of colic. I dug into city ordinances during my lunch break at the station. A clause caught my eye. SER-VYC and emotional support animals were allowed with documentation. Pro-VY dead, they weren't a hazard. Titan's therapy role might protect him. My boss, Lieutenant Carter, knew about Titan's work and offered the department's support. That gave me hope. Two of Mrs. Pritchard's cronies, a lanky guy named Harold and a dour woman named Marjorie, showed up later, measuring my fence line. Checking for violations, Harold said with a fake smile. That stable might cross into common space. I held my ground. It's on my property. I have the deed. Mrs. Pritchard joined them, smug as ever. If it's an inch over, you'll tear it down, she said. I told them to stay off my land without permission. That night, I gathered Titan's credentials, letters from therapists, event flyers. The HOA scheduled a hearing in 3 days. I prepared like it was a trial, collecting testimonies and studying bylaws. They vaguely banned livestock but ignored therapy animals. My stable was legal per city records. The night before, I walked Titan around the yard. He was steadier, but the garage ordeal lingered in his eyes. At the hearing, Mrs. Pritchard listed her grievances: noise, damage, rule breaking. I countered with Titan's therapy status, state protections, and my survey. He's not livestock's a recognized therapy animal. And someone tampered with my gate. A neighbor backed me up, hinting at Mrs. Pritchard's meddling. The board wavered. After tense debate, they required documentation but dropped the removal threat. Mrs. Pritchard seethed but agreed to settle the hedge damage claim. She didn't stop. Neighborhood pet control showed up to monitor noise, and an unmarked car watched my house. A VYRAL blog post, HOA Tyrant vs. Therapy Horse, shifted the tide. Public support grew and residents rallied against her. At a special meeting, I brought Titan to show his gentle nature. Neighbors spoke of parents, veterans defending him. Her new bylaw push failed, and a recall vote ousted her. She resigned, sold her house, and left. Titan and I resumed our work, free from harassment. He became a local hero, symbolizing resilience. The new board embraced therapy animals, and we thrived. Pro-VY in compassion could outlast petty tyranny in Meadow VW.